everybody, Tekking101 here. Before I start the video, I just want to get two things out of the way really quick. First off, as you can see, the wall has expanded slightly. We have 3 new pictures. This is one that someone sent in to me. If you can't see it too well, it's basically Ichigo in all of his evolutionary forms. Here it is in close-up. I was choosing between this one and the one that actually had the chapter title, because if you remember correctly, I think it was one of the day sides. There was a chapter title where Ichigo had all his powers, and I was going to use that one, but I like this one because it actually shows more in-depth. Then we have Chojiro's little remembrance thing that I threw up for him because we shall remember Chojiro fondly. And then we have Grimmjow because we all miss Grimmjow and we're all expecting Grimmjow to show back up again, so I thought I'd throw him up there. There's a few more open slots. Send me. I'm always accepting suggestions, obviously. And the second thing is, this is a new camera. I love it to death. It's amazing, except the only one thing is the sound is not great. I've noticed that you might be able to tell the sounds might be a little bit off. I could fix it in Audacity a little bit, but it might show. But aside from that, it's a great camera. I'm going to keep it because this one here is just, this is my old camera, in case you, this is the one I've been recording with. The casing is literally cracking apart here, so I needed to get a new one because this thing wouldn't even transfer over to my computer anymore. But, alright then, so I think that covers everything. Go to the intro! Tekking101 here to review Bleach chapter 491, entitled, great, another German one. I have a feeling we're going to be having a lot of these throughout the, this arc, because, you know, back when the Arancar arc was going on, like, there was a bunch of, Spanish titles, like Mala Suerte, and all that, so I'm sure we'll be getting enough of these in the future, but, it roughly translates out to Dead Angel, and the translator note actually mentioned that Toden should actually have a T instead of a D. I really wanted to wait for Manga Stream to come out today, but it's taking too long, and I really want to get this out of the way as soon as I can, so I'm using a third-party website, so I apologize if the translations aren't up to greatness, but I really can't wait for Manga Stream. I really want to get this out of the way now. So, as we start off from last chapter, we have Kurji's ridiculous Let's Steal being released, and Ichigo getting ready to battle it in the most epic fight ever, but first we need exposition. Yes, if you remember correctly in the last review, I kind of made a joke that Ichigo shouldn't know what the Let's Steal is, so I made a joke that, like, I wonder if Uryu just sat down with Ichigo at one time and just told him, like, oh yeah, by the way, Ichigo, yeah, we Quincy's have this thing called the Let's Steal, which is our final form. That's how I lost my powers. Just thought I'd throw that out there. And, I was making a joke, but in reality, that's kind of what happened, except it was Uehara and not Uryu. So, Ichigo's having a flashback to when Uehara just blatantly explained what the Quincy Let's Steal is and how Uryu lost his powers. I'm not really sure what time frame this fits in. We see Uehara in his training ground. I don't know if this is before they went to Hueco Mundo just now, if this is when they came back from the Soul Society when he initially lost his powers. We don't know how Uehara even knows about this. But basically, yeah, we get about 2 or 3 pages of exposition about what the Let's Steal is exactly, how the glove works, how it's released, and how... So we cut back to the present. Kurji clashes with Ichigo, and he states something very important, that this is not the same Let's Steal that Uryu used, and this one is in fact stronger. So I'm not really concerned about that. I'm more concerned about the fact that Kurji can spontaneously read Ichigo's mind. Kinda. In this panel, he says, I will read inside your mind and answer. And I guess he scans Ichigo's mind and understands, because this happens the same time that Ichigo is, you know, having the flashback with Uehara. So I guess it implies here that Kurji's able to read Ichigo's mind, because he reads his mind and is like, yeah, it's a different thing. Maybe it's his weird eyes, that weird hypnotic pattern all of a sudden. I mean, that explains what I assumed last chapter, that this is some kind of evolved form, because it would be kind of weak if, you know, Kurji just uses this one power and then it's gone forever. So I kind of figured this was some kind of upgraded version from 200 years ago. And he even goes on to explain that it was Soken Ishida who refused to make the progress, and he's the one that stuck to the regular Let's Steal that Uryu uses. So right there we know that Kurji and probably the Vandenreich at large are aware of Soken Ishida. They're aware of Ishida's family. Where they fit into all this, we still have no idea. We know there's some kind of idea here. I mean, you're not going to have the Quincy's come back for the final arc and have Uryu there and not going to have something tied in. There's going to be something big. It's going to be like a tipping point of this arc is going to be something involving Uryu, Ryukin, and possibly even Soken. Maybe they'll go back to him with something. I don't know. Maybe he's still alive. I don't know. That might be a crucial point in the future. I know they made it pretty good clear that he's dead, but once again, last arc, all bets are off. I mean, Stark could come back. I would personally really like that if Stark could come back. I think I'm going to throw him up here on the picture too, because he was my favorite Espada. But yeah, so after all this exposition with the Quincy Let's Steal, Ichigo's response to Kurji is simply, "Oh my god, I'm glad Ichigo didn't transform into something that disgusting. I might end up killing him just by mistake." Oh, burn! Actually, no, this goes beyond a normal burn. This is a Bleach burn. Yeah, that's 10 times more painful than your normal burn. Keep that in mind. Okay, so as we all know from Ichigo's career with fighting against villains that have monologues, you know, like Aizen had the big monologue about how I'm a god and you can't stop me, facepalm across town. And now here we have Kurji doing the big exposition with, I have the Quincy Let's Steal, it's the most amazing power on the face of the earth, you can never hope to... Your grip's loose. What? Yes! Finally, that is what happens when you are an annoying monologuing villain in Bleach. You get your freaking head cut off by Ichigo freaking Kurasa.
Oh, come on! Why won't he just die?
You know what? The annoying part of this is not how he survived a point-blank slash to the throat. The annoying part of this is he keeps monologuing after he just survives a point-blank slash to the throat. You can't hurt me because I have no weak points. You said that my form was disgusting, which makes sense because that is a correct reaction in the eyes of a treacherous Shinigami. I am so better than you because we are holy execution. Oh my god, would someone shoot him in the brain? Okay, so cue giant super attack that he uses. It gathers up all the Ryatsu in Huecomundo because, of course, all the Huecomundo is made of his Ryatsu, similar to the Seirei technique. And the name of this new technique... I'm not even going to try. You know why I'm not even going to try? Because I find this hilarious. The translator didn't even try. Here's the translator note. No idea how you spell Biskill. The Japanese says justice of God. He gave up too. Trying to translate the German things. I mean, I know someone in my audience is probably going to try to translate it. Godspeed to you. Go ahead, leave me a comment. I get several of them every single video about the German translations. And the interesting thing is, every time I get a comment, I always get, like, a lot of times, like, different ways of how you pronounce it. Like, with the Vandenreich, I've heard, like, the Phantom, the Phantom Reich. I heard of the Invisible Reich. I just heard all these different, like, versions you can say Vandenreich. So, it's interesting that I keep getting different combinations. But, I was kind of surprised in this chapter because most villains in Bleach that have like extremely long monologues like Kurji did, I mean, the entire chapter, he didn't shut the hell up. And usually in Bleach, the chapter ends with Ichigo like kicking ass all of a sudden, like okay, with Ginjo, for example, when he was fighting Ginjo, he's like, you know, they were talking to each other, he launches a Sero, Ichigo stops it with his bare hand, he was fighting Ivan, he was monologuing, Ichigo just blew him up in the face with a Getsuga Tensho, and this time, it didn't happen, so I thought, okay, what's going to happen next? Well, you see, right before Kurji's about to release his super awesome Mega Kamehameha ultimate attack, it gets destroyed from behind, turns around, and he gets punched in the freaking face, pwned. Yeah, and it's plot twist of the chapter, it turns out it's motherfucking Alon. So yeah, apparently, Mila Rose, Sun, and Apache are back in the fight. They released their, Chimera Paka ability. Yeah, that's it. And they released Ilon to fight Kurji. This is going to be so awesome. Now, I know what you guys are thinking probably right away, that Ilon was discarded pretty easily by Yamamoto, but you also have to remember the fact that, okay, yeah, Yamamoto took out Ilon with no, effort whatsoever, but he was the head captain, okay? He pretty much owns everybody, with the exception of Aizen, where I'm still mad about their fight, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But before Yamamoto showed up, Ion kicked everybody's ass. I mean, there was no contest. Not one Shinigami before Yamamoto even came close to injuring this freaking thing. He was made off to be invincible. Hisagi, Shuhei is the same person. Shuhei, Izuru, Rangiku, Momo, they all got their asses kicked. All these lieutenant level Shinigamis with Shikai initiated. Although I don't think Izuru used his Shikai ability, which I didn't really understand because it can increase the weight of anything. So as long as you hit Ion with it, I thought it would work, but he didn't do that. He just kind of stood there shaking like a little bitch. But anyway, so Ion's in this fight, and I honestly think that he can put up a good fight against him. Now, of course, we don't really know how Ion really works, and I know what you guys are thinking. I'm pronouncing it wrong. I've heard Alon, I've heard Ion, I just heard a bunch of different pronunciations of this name, so I'm probably going to be switching back and forth. But we don't really know how he works. If he takes orders from Apache, Mila Rose, and Sun, if he just does things on his own, if he's some kind of brainless beast. We don't really know exactly how he functions, but we do know if he sees it, it's pretty much going to die. That's pretty much what we've seen so far. So, next chapter, I'm really looking forward to that fight. What else? Well, there really wasn't much else in this chapter except for the exposition all of a sudden with the Let's Steal that Uehara somehow knew, and just the constant freaking monologuing with Kurji. That was the high point, when he got punched in his face, and just like, yeah, monologuing villains in Bleach, they end up dead. They end up super dead. That's like exactly how it worked with Aizen, though. Because Aizen, it followed the exact same formula. Aizen monologues, Ichigo kicks his ass, and then he's powering up some super attack, like with the Kido attack. Remember when Aizen was so proud? He's like, oh, I'm gonna crush you with Kido! Aha! You can't stop it because I'm better than you! I am a god! And just like, Ichigo's just like, bitch, please. Shatters it. You know that's gonna happen. So, yeah, next fight, Ion versus Kurji. I'm hoping he just gets curb stomped, because that's going to be a high point. So, yeah, thanks, everybody. Tekking101 signing out. Hope this camera worked. Bye.